For 10,000 years, the galaxy knew silence.
Once, the name humanity had carried the weight of collapsing empires and impossible victories. It had been spoken with a trembling mixture of fear and reverence, whispered by dying warlords, encoded into the warning archives of ancient civilizations, etched into planetary vaults as myth. Humanity had not been the largest empire, nor the oldest, but it had been something far more unnerving. A species that refused to stay dead. But 10 millennia had passed since anyone last heard their voices. 10 millennia since the Sol system went dark, no signals, no ships, not even the ghost static of a dying civilization. The galaxy moved on the way civilizations do, not by forgetting, but by sanding myths down into stories, and then letting stories fade into nothing at all. And so the galaxy forgot what humanity was. Forgot what they had done. Forgot what they had promised to do, should anyone ever wake them again. It began on the isolated fringe of the Tesseran expanse at the lonely, dust-frosted moon of Keros 6. A research station slept there, orbiting a gas giant that glowed like a dying ember. It was a cheap assignment, fit for scientists who'd fallen out of favor among their own species. Captain Rylan Viros, not human, not even remotely so, lounged in a quiet control chamber. He resembled a tall obsidian statue, his carapace ridged and polished, for-slitted eyes flickering with boredom. He had endured 53 cycles of uneventful monitoring, convinced that nothing of consequence would ever happen here. He was almost right. Almost. A soft chime broke the monotony, the kind of noise that stations make when they are bored and want attention. Rylan ignored it until the chime became a shrill, sustained alarm that made every panel in the room flash white. He straightened. "System," he rasped. "Report." A holographic display blinked to life, projecting a dizzying sequence of coordinates that made Rylan's armor tighten. "Source of anomaly, Sol system," the station AI replied. "Origin, Earth sector. Classification, type unknown resonance. Sol. Earth. Words from myth." Rylan approached the display. "Impossible. The Sol system has been dead for 10,000 years. "Correction," the AI chirped. It was presumed dead. Before Rylan could respond, a second alarm went off, deeper, heavier, almost organic in tone. More data streamed in. "Captain," the AI continued, "I detect a broadcast signal. Triangulating now." Rylan froze. "A signal? From Earth? Impossible." The hologram stabilized. A waveform appeared, slow, rhythmic, echoing like a heartbeat. Thud. 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 The frequency resonated strangely, stirring something instinctive and primal even in Rylan's alien physiology. "What in the void?" "It is an activation code," the AI said. "An ancient one." The waveform spiked. A message cracked through the static, low and chilling. "We wake." Rylan's breath caught in his throat. "We, who?" he whispered. But the voice did not answer. It didn't need to. Every legend of old humanity began with those words. Across the galaxy, on planets where warlords gathered, on space stations where traitors schemed, in political councils where cautious ambassadors argued, long dormant listening arrays lit up with the same signal. The same heartbeat. The same message. "We wake." Many scoffed. Many trembled. Many believed it a trick, or a glitch, or sabotage. But in the Ashari collective, a civilization old enough to remember fragments of truth, an emergency convocation was assembled. The Ashari were not physical beings but shimmering clouds of luminous particles given shape by electromagnetic force. Their form shifted gently in the cathedral-like chamber as they convened. High Curator Elindra spoke first. "The humans are gone," she insisted. "Extinct. Lost. Dust among dust." A deeper, older voice resonated in reply. "One does not mistake a human activation code," Chancellor Voran warned. "This message is no echo. It is deliberate." "Perhaps," Elindra countered, "but even if the species survived in some shattered form, what threat could remnants pose?" Voran's light flickered in agitation. "You are too young to remember.
I am old enough.
I have seen monuments scorched by their wars. I have seen worlds abandoned because no one dared resettle them after humans touched their soil. If they wake. He drifted lower, his luminescent voice dimming.
The galaxy will once again know fear.
A hush spread across the chamber.
Not simply fear of what humanity would become when it returned from silence.
The Sol system, meanwhile, erupted with life.
Saturn's rings shimmered with energy patterns.
Jupiter's storms pulsed in synchronized cadence with the strange heartbeat signal. The Kuiper belt fractured as hidden machines, massive, angular constructs buried in ice for millennia, shook themselves free. And on Earth, beneath the ruins of what had once been North America, a chamber the size of a small city hummed to life.
It was a cradle. A vault. A sanctuary. A prison. Inside it, rows of transparent suspension pods stretched into the darkness. Millions of them.
Each one held a human, hair floating weightlessly, eyes closed, faces serene and preserved in ageless sleep. They were pale, untouched by time, suspended at the exact moment their world had fallen silent. At the heart of the vault, surrounded by a halo of dim blue lights, lay one pod larger and more complex than the rest.
Inside it was a man. Tall. Broad-shouldered. Dark hair cropped short. A face that carried both fatigue and authority. His nameplate, faded but still legible, read: Commander Isaac Mercer. Terran Defense Directorate. Project, Echo Sovereign.
A soft chime sounded within the vault.
The commander's eyes flicked open. Not gradually. Not groggily. Instantly.
As though those eyes had been waiting.
The pod hissed. Its front panel slid open with a long exhale of vapor.
Isaac stepped out barefoot onto the cold floor, vision adjusting to the greenish glow of the chamber.
A smooth, artificial voice greeted him. Commander Mercer. Revival cycle successful. Welcome back.
Isaac's pulse remained steady, but his jaw tightened.
Status. Humanity's cryonet remains stable, the AI responded. Revival sequence is underway. External signal detected. Foreign civilizations have intercepted. At last, Isaac murmured. He didn't ask who had woken them. He already knew. Someone had come too close.
Someone had stirred old systems that were never meant to be touched. The galaxy had grown arrogant in its peace.
It had forgotten.
Isaac lifted his gaze toward the ceiling where tremors of revival energy vibrated through the structure.
Activate the armory, he ordered quietly. Initiate global reawakening sequence. Confirmed.
He inhaled deeply, his first breath as a man re-entering a galaxy that no longer remembered what humanity was. A faint smile tugged at the corner of his lips.
Time to remind them.
Behind him, the heartbeat signal thundered louder, echoing through the earth, through the stars, and through every trembling species that intercepted it. Humanity had not been extinguished.
Humanity had been waiting. The vault trembled as ancient systems groaned awake for the first time in 10 millennia.
Lights flickered across colossal rows of cryogenic pods, each one containing a silent witness to the fall and now resurgence of a species once feared across the stars. Commander Isaac Mercer walked through the awakening chamber, his footsteps echoing like the measured strike of a drum. His breath crystallized faintly in the cold, ancient air. He wore only a thin, woven cryosuit, yet he moved with a confidence that seemed almost unnatural. Above him, the chamber's AI, its voice soft, feminine, narrated status reports. Pod integrity above 98%.
Neural reintegration nominal. Genetic drift, 0. Humanity preservation remains absolute.
That's what we built this vault for, Isaac murmured. We, Commander, the AI asked. Isaac paused, a flicker of something unreadable crossing his eyes. Humanity built this vault, he corrected.
I was only its final key. The AI didn't respond. It didn't need to.
Isaac stepped onto a rising platform that lifted him toward the core control deck, a circular balcony suspended high above the sprawling cryofloor. From here, the whole vault stretched out like a cathedral, a monument to a sleeping empire. As he looked across the rows of pods, some already thawing, he felt the weight of the past pressing into him. Memories, old battles, dying worlds, the moment Earth had realized the galaxy would not allow it to exist in peace, flickered through his mind like fading embers.
Humanity had made its decision then. Not surrender. Not extinction. Retreat. Silence.
A slumber so profound the galaxy would one day forget the monster it had provoked.
And now the galaxy had forgotten. That was its mistake.
On the surface of Earth, the world was unrecognizable.
Cities lay buried under forests that had reclaimed everything. Oceans had swallowed coasts. Deserts had shifted and reshaped continents.
Humanity had not just slept 10,000 years, they had left the planet to rebuild itself without them. High above the Earth's stratosphere, satellites that had been dormant for ages abruptly crackled to life.
Their beams probed far into the darkness of space, activating old networks, resurrecting defense grids and orbital arrays that had once been feared by entire coalitions. In the ruins of what was once Manhattan, dust shook loose from a forgotten bunker door as hydraulics hissed awake. Across the globe, vaults opened, exhaling the frost of millennia.
Humanity was rising, not in chaos, but in precision.
Not in confusion, but in purpose.
Far beyond Earth, panic rippled across star nations like wildfire.
In the Ashari collective, curator Elindra hovered anxiously, her luminous form fracturing with unease. This cannot be real, she insisted. Even if humans survived, they cannot rebuild after 10,000 years of sleep. Their technology would be beyond anything you can calculate, Chancellor Vorin interrupted.
The chamber dimmed as he expanded to his full, towering radiance, waves of light pulsing through his form.
I warned you, Vorin continued. The galaxy never defeated humanity. It merely survived their withdrawal. They vanished because they chose to. And now.
He turned toward the galactic holomap, where a blinking symbol, Sol System, had turned a violent shade of red.
They choose to return. Elindra's light flickered.
Then we must prepare for war. Vorin shook, a gesture like a head shaking sorrowfully.
No. If humanity rises, war is not preparation. It is surrender.
Meanwhile, across the outer rim, 3 scavenger vessels drifted cautiously toward the Sol boundary. Captain Tarek Hroth, a reptilian mercenary with mottled scales and jagged teeth, stared through his ship's viewing window as faint pulses of energy rippled across the black. Whoever sent that signal, he growled, they want attention. His navigator, a thin avian creature named Shiel, ruffled her feathers nervously.
We shouldn't be here. Sol is cursed. Dead. Forbidden. Tarek scoffed.
Dead worlds hold treasures.
And if something woke up, it must be valuable. He leaned forward, licking his teeth. Mark it. We're going in.
But as the scavenger fleet crossed an invisible threshold, space itself shimmered. A moment later, their navigation screens went black.
Captain!
Shiel screeched.
And then they saw it. A structure the size of a moon emerged from the dark, its metallic surface shifting with fractal geometry. Cylindrical arrays rotated slowly, humming with ancient energy.
It had not been built to stop warships.
It had been built to stop armadas. What is that?
Shiel stammered.
Tarek whispered, barely able to force breath into his lungs. A human Aegis Gate.
It was a myth, an extinction-tier defense station rumored to have once erased entire fleets that dared approach Earth.
Thousands of years ago, the galaxy had prayed they were all destroyed. They weren't. The station's core ignited with a blinding blue light.
Identification required, a cold voice boomed across every ship.
Tarek froze. We don't have. Warning. Unauthorized species detected. Get us out. Shiel shrieked. But they never moved. A pulse of contained gravitational force erupted from the Aegis Gate.
Their ships collapsed inward like crushed paper, compacted into perfect spheres of metal.
No explosion. No debris. Just silence. The Aegis Gate returned to dormancy. Humanity's borders were awake. And the galaxy shook. Inside the Earth Vault, Commander Isaac donned his uniform, a pitch-black exoskeletal armor woven with living nanofibers that adjusted to his heartbeat. Prepare external broadcast, Isaac instructed. Channel open, the AI replied. Isaac spoke, his voice calm and unhurried, yet carrying the weight of a species reborn. This is Commander Isaac Mercer of the Terran Defense Directorate. Humanity has completed Revival Cycle 1. We are returning to the galactic stage. If you approach Sol without clearance, you will not return. He paused, letting the message settle. To all who believed us extinct, you were wrong. To all who feared our return, you were right. Stand down, or stand aside. He ended the transmission. Moments later, the AI announced, first wave of human revival complete. Estimated awakened population, 200,000. Isaac allowed himself the faintest hint of relief. They would need every one of them. He moved to the observation platform where newly awakened men and women, scientists, soldiers, engineers, were being escorted into briefing halls. Their faces showed shock, fear, awe, but above all, resolve. A woman approached him, tall, sharp-eyed, her blonde hair still frost-damp. Her name patch read. Dr. Evelyn Carter. Cognitive Systems Lead. Commander, she said, voice steady despite the enormity of the moment. Our people are waking. They'll want to know what happened, what comes next. Isaac nodded. Then let's remind them who we are. Evelyn searched his face. Do you think the galaxy is ready for us to return? Isaac turned toward the vast chamber of rising humans, his people, his species, the storm that had once reshaped star empires. No, he said. He clenched his fist. But ready or not, it's happening. Suddenly, a holographic alert bloomed before them. Unidentified vessel approaching Earth orbit, the AI warned. Single occupant. No weapon signatures. Broadcasting a plea for diplomatic contact. Evelyn blinked. A diplomat? Already? Isaac narrowed his eyes. Put them through. A moment later, the hologram stabilized, revealing a luminous Ashari figure, Curator Elindra herself, glowing with trembling resolve. Humans, she said quietly, we come not in war, but in fear. Isaac stared at her in silence. Then you remember, he replied. Elindra shimmered. We remember enough to know this, if humanity is awake, the galaxy must listen. Isaac's expression remained unreadable. Then listen carefully, he said. His voice fell to a low, lethal whisper. We haven't even begun. Silence claimed the command deck after Curator Elindra's face dissolved into light. Commander Isaac Mercer stood motionless, staring at the fading hologram. Around him, alarms pulsed softly, revival machinery hummed, and faint echoes of waking humans drifted from the vault below. Yet none of it stirred him. What Elindra had said wasn't a warning. It was a plea. Dr. Evelyn Carter joined him beside the holoprojector. Her expression was tight, concern shadowing her sharp features. What now? She asked. Isaac inhaled slowly, the breath of a man who felt the weight of a civilization on his shoulders. Now, he murmured, we make certain the galaxy understands the meaning of our return. He turned toward the central console. AI, initiate planetary surface uplink. Activate Citadel Protocol. Warning, the AI replied. Citadel Protocol will expose all Terran infrastructure to external detection. Exactly, Isaac said. Evelyn stared at him. You're revealing everything? So soon? Not everything, Isaac said. Just enough to remind them who we are. Across Earth, dormant structures erupted with light. In the Andes, entire mountainsides split open, revealing radiant metallic strata, the skeletons of colossal power conduits. In the Pacific, ocean water parted around a rising monolith of obsidian metal, its shape triangular and impossibly tall, casting shadows on the seafloor.
On the African plains, vast shield arrays unfurled like metallic flowers. From orbit, Earth no longer looked like a once-fallen world recovering from time. It looked like a weapon forged for a war that had never ended.
Humanity was waking.
So was everything it had built. The Ashari emissary vessel drifted cautiously in Earth's orbit, its shimmering tendrils of plasma quivering as it observed the transforming planet below. Curator Elindra pulsed with agitation. They prepared for this, she whispered.
Even asleep, they prepared.
Her two escorts, young, inexperienced Ashari, flickered nervously.
Curator, should we retreat? One asked. No, Elindra said. Retreat is not safety. Not with humans. It is better to understand them than fear them.
But as she spoke, Earth's orbital layer rippled with blue light.
Something was coming. A human ship, sleek, angular, metallic black, ascended from the atmosphere with thunderous force. It moved with precision, as if guided by instinct more than technology. It did not aim weapons. It simply approached. And docked. A corridor extended. The hatch opened.
And Commander Isaac Mercer stepped aboard. He wore an armored suit of dark nanofibers that shifted subtly with each movement, as though alive. His expression was calm, his posture rigid with authority.
For a moment, Elindra and her escorts froze. Here he was. A human.
The first any living species had seen in 10,000 years.
Isaac surveyed the alien vessel not with curiosity, but with clinical assessment. He extended a hand. Curator Elindra, he said.
She hesitated before extending a tendril of coherent light. When their forms met, light touching flesh, her entire being trembled.
So, she whispered. The myths were true. Isaac's eyes hardened. No, he said. The myths were timid.
They moved into a lounge chamber, where translucent walls revealed the curve of Earth below. Elindra drifted beside him, uncertain whether she should speak first. He spared her the decision. You said you came in fear, Isaac began.
Explain. Elindra's form dimmed. We believed you extinct.
But if you are awake again, if all of you return, the galaxy will panic.
Some species will advocate diplomacy. Others will argue for a preemptive strike. Old enemies still have records of human wars.
Let them come, Isaac interrupted. His voice was steady.
Too steady. Elindra shivered. That is what we fear.
You fear us waking, Isaac said.
But you should be more afraid that we slept.
She stared at him.
Why?
Isaac leaned closer, his gaze cold but not cruel, only tired, ancient, resolute.
Because humanity doesn't forget, he said.
Not betrayal, not slaughter, not mercy, not hope. And for 10,000 years, we remembered everything.
Elindra vibrated faintly, light flickering like anxious breath. If you remember everything, then what do you intend to do now?
Isaac turned, looking down at the swirling clouds over the continent that was once North America.
We rebuild, he said. We reclaim. And we ensure that what happened before never happens again. But how? Elindra asked. Through alliance? Or domination?
Isaac met her gaze, human eyes against living starlight.
We haven't decided, he said.
In the command deck of the underground vault, Dr. Evelyn Carter watched live feeds as humanity emerged from the Earth in staggering numbers. Groups of newly awakened citizens gathered in sunlight for the first time in 10,000 years.
Some wept. Some laughed. Some collapsed from the weight of ancestral memory.
But another screen drew Evelyn's gaze.
Vessels. Dozens of them. Approaching Sol. Different shapes. Different species. All broadcasting the same message. We request diplomatic counsel. Evelyn's breath caught.
They're afraid, she whispered.
The AI responded. Fear is the logical response. Evelyn shook her head. Fear can lead to war.
Commander Mercer is aware, the AI replied. Back aboard the Ashari vessel, Isaac and Elindra reached the heart of the conversation neither wanted, yet both knew was coming.
What do you want, Commander? Elindra asked softly. Stability, Isaac said. Justice.
Safety for our species.
And for others? Elindra pressed. Isaac didn't answer immediately.
But when he did, his voice was a blade drawn slowly from its sheath.
For others, order. Elindra recoiled. Human order? You cannot impose. I can, Isaac cut in, and if necessary, we will. But it doesn't have to begin in violence. Elindra hesitated.
Then how do we prevent it? She whispered. Isaac considered her, then the galaxy beyond. He saw 1,000 futures in his mind, some burning, some brilliant.
His jaw tightened.
Take me to the Galactic Concord, he said.
Elindra stared.
The Council will panic at your presence.
Good, Isaac replied. Panic breeds honesty.
And if honesty breeds war? She asked. Isaac turned away from the stars and faced her fully. His voice, when it came, was neither threat nor warning, only truth.
Then humanity will show them why the galaxy once feared our name.
Elindra's light dimmed sorrowfully.
You would destroy us all, to survive? Isaac shook his head.
No, he said quietly. I would destroy only those who try to destroy us again.
A long silence followed. Finally, Elindra extended a tendril. I will take you, she said. But you must promise restraint.
Isaac looked at her, the faintest warmth, almost humanity, returning to his expression. I promise nothing, he said. But I'll try. It was the closest thing to peace she would ever get.
And it would have to be enough. Hours later, the Ashari vessel prepared for departure.
Earth glowed below, alive again, reborn, powerful. Above it, the newly awakened Terran satellites and orbital shields formed a shimmering lattice around the planet. Elindra watched Isaac from across the deck as stars elongated into lines, the ship entering lightspeed.
You know, she said softly, the galaxy will never be the same. Isaac nodded. It wasn't meant to be. And humanity, she asked. What will it become now?
Isaac closed his eyes. His answer came not as a whisper, but as a vow.
Awake.
Light swallowed the vessel as it vanished into the stars.
Behind them, Earth pulsed like the heart of a giant, alive, rising, unstoppable. After 10,000 years of silence, the galaxy finally remembered. And humanity had only just begun.